Now!
You check into a hotel, exhausted, just wanting a bed. The clerk smiles, slides you a key card, and says, 6th floor. But when you get there, the door you open isn't supposed to exist. It was past midnight when Daniel stumbled into the lobby of the Red Crest Hotel in Las Vegas. His flight had been delayed for hours. His phone was dead, and all he wanted was a bed. The lobby was alive with noise, slot machines clanging, people laughing, neon lights bleeding through tinted glass. The front desk clerk barely looked up. Name? Daniel Cross. Reservation for one night. The clerk typed, nodded, then slid a white key card across the desk. 6th floor, room 616. Daniel frowned. He didn't remember booking that room number, but he was too tired to argue. He stuffed the key card in his pocket and dragged his suitcase toward the elevators. The ride up was silent. The elevator smelled faintly of bleach and something metallic. The glowing numbers ticked upward until the doors opened with a heavy ding. The 6th floor was nothing like the lobby. The carpet was faded, patterned with swirling red and black designs. The lights above buzzed faintly, casting a dim yellow glow. Daniel wheeled his suitcase down the hall, counting the door numbers. 610, 611, 612. He stopped. The next door was 616. But something felt wrong. The number plate looked older, more tarnished than the others. The brass digits were scratched, almost as if someone had tried to pry them off. The door itself was a shade darker, its wood rougher than the polished ones nearby. Daniel tried the key card. Beep, green light. The door clicked open. He stepped inside. The room looked normal at first glance. A queen-size bed, a nightstand, a small TV, and a single window with blackout curtains. He sighed, tossing his suitcase onto the bed. Relief washed over him until he noticed the air. It was colder than the hallway. Damp, heavy, like the air in a basement. Daniel rubbed his arms, uneasy. He turned on the lamp, but the bulb flickered before settling into a weak yellow glow. He plugged his phone charger into the wall, but the outlet sparked and hissed. The screen stayed black. Dead. Sighing, he sat on the edge of the bed. That's when he noticed something else. The room was too quiet. Every hotel has noise, muffled voices through the walls, footsteps in the hall, TVs buzzing. But here, nothing. Not a sound. He couldn't even hear the air conditioning. Just silence. Daniel stood pacing slowly. That's when his eyes fell on the mirror above the dresser. It looked wrong. Not cracked, not broken, just wrong. His reflection seemed slightly delayed, as if the glass were a second behind reality. He waved his hand quickly. The reflection waved a fraction too late. His stomach dropped. He turned back toward the door, suddenly desperate to leave. But when he tried the handle, it didn't budge. The lock clunked solid. He swiped the key card again. Nothing. Red light. Panic surged. Hello? He called out. The door's jammed. Silence. He banged on the wood, shouting louder. His voice echoed strangely, almost muffled, as if the walls absorbed sound. Daniel's heart raced. He turned back to the room. That's when he noticed something that made his blood run cold. The window wasn't a window. The curtains had shifted slightly, revealing solid wall behind them. Painted black. He hadn't noticed before, but now he was sure this room had no window at all. His chest tightened. No. He grabbed his suitcase, yanking it open, searching for anything, his phone charger, his flashlight. But his phone was still dead. The outlet still sparked. The lamp flickered. Then the TV turned on by itself. Static. White noise hissed into the room, loud and jarring after all that silence. Daniel froze, staring at the screen. Through the static, a shape began to form. Not clear, not solid, just a shadow, slowly taking the outline of a person. A head, shoulders, arms. It moved closer to the glass until it was staring directly at him. Then the screen went black. Daniel's pulse hammered in his ears. He rushed back to the door, pounding, screaming now. "Help! Somebody!" The lock clicked. Relief surged until he realized it hadn't opened. It had locked again. Click, click, click. Over and over, the sound of the bolt sliding, like unseen hands were playing with it, taunting him. He backed away, trembling, gripping the edge of the nightstand. His reflection in the mirror caught his eye again. This time it wasn't delayed. It was smiling. Daniel wasn't. The breath left his lungs. His knees buckled as he stumbled back. The reflection lifted a hand slowly, pressing it against the glass. Daniel didn't move, but the reflection did, tapping the surface of the mirror. Once, twice, 3 times. Tap, tap, tap. The sound echoed through the silent room. Daniel screamed, slamming the lamp to the floor, plunging the room into darkness. The tapping grew louder, faster. The reflection's face twisted, eyes widening, mouth stretching open too far. Then the door burst open. Light from the hallway spilled in. A maid stood there, eyes wide. "Sir, are you okay?" Daniel spun around. The mirror was empty. The TV was dark. The room looked normal again. He bolted past her, dragging his suitcase. His voice cracked as he shouted, "Room 616. Get me out of here." The maid froze. Confusion flickered across her face. "There is no room 616, sir. This floor only goes to 614. Daniel's hands were trembling as he yanked open the door and stumbled out of room 616. His chest heaved. The air in the hallway felt heavy, damp, like the chill from inside had followed him. The corridor looked empty. Lights buzzed faintly above. The carpet stretched out in red and black swirls. Daniel exhaled. Maybe it's fine. Maybe I'm just imagining things. He started walking, one slow step at a time. He didn't bother grabbing his suitcase. He just wanted the elevator. But the further he walked, the stranger it felt. Room 610, room 612, room 614. He turned the corner. 610, 611, 6 and 12. Again. Daniel froze. His breath caught. No, that's impossible. He spun around to look back. Room 616 should have been right behind him, but the wall was blank. No door, no sign, nothing. Panic rose in his chest. His legs moved faster, carrying him down the carpet. The buzzing of the fluorescent bulbs grew louder, drilling into his ears. He pulled his phone from his pocket, pressed the button. Dead, black screen. No light, no signal. "Hello?" His voice cracked as it echoed through the empty hall. "Is anyone there?" The sound bounced back to him, then faded, muffled, swallowed. Daniel's throat tightened. He broke into a jog. His footsteps thudded across the endless carpet. The hall kept repeating, stretching further. Every corner led to the same doors. The same numbers. 6 to 10, 12, 614. He skidded to a stop, chest burning, sweat on his forehead. He touched the wall with a shaky hand. The wallpaper felt damp, cold, like stone hidden beneath wet fabric. Then he heard it. Whispers, low, distant, impossible to make out. But one thing was clear, they were whispering his name. "Daniel." He stumbled back. No. A door creaked open ahead of him. Just a sliver. Inside was nothing but black. Daniel's heart slammed in his chest. His instincts screamed at him to run. Then another door opened, and another. Hinges groaned up and down the corridor, one after another. All of them cracked open. Something was inside, watching. The whispers grew louder. Not voices anymore, hisses, chants. Overlapping words that twisted into something inhuman. Daniel's knees buckled. He tried to move backward, but behind him another door creaked open. He felt the weight of something waiting inside. A shadow shifted. Daniel broke. He ran. His legs pumped, his chest heaving. He bolted past door after door, ignoring the voices clawing at his ears. But the hallway didn't end. The carpet blurred beneath him. The lights flickered out one by one. plunging the hall into sections of choking blackness. He didn't dare stop. The dark was spreading, creeping up behind him like a tide. His lungs burned. His throat tore with every breath. Finally, he screamed, voice echoing, "Somebody help!" The answer came immediately. Not help, not rescue, just one word, 616. The voices whispered in unison. Daniel spun as he ran, and his stomach dropped. The hallway wasn't straight. It was curving, wrapping around, closing on itself. He wasn't running forward. He was running in circles. The same doors, the same walls, the same darkness swallowing him whole, and the whispers, chanting louder now, vibrating through the floor, the ceiling, the air. 616, 616, 616. Daniel's vision blurred. His legs shook. He slowed, stumbling to the side, gripping the wall. And as the last light above him flickered out, he realized there was no escape. Daniel's breath came in shallow gasps. He had been running for what felt like forever, yet the hallway refused to end. His legs trembled, his throat burned, but there was no choice. He had to keep moving. Then, without warning, the whispers stopped. The silence was worse. He slowed, heart hammering in his chest, his ears straining for any sound. The corridor stretched ahead, lined with doors on either side, each identical, each waiting. Then, one of them moved. A door to his left creaked open by an inch. The sound was faint, drawn out, like fingernails dragging across wood. Daniel froze. His stomach twisted. Another door opened, and another. The air grew colder. Hinges groaned as one by one. The doors along the hallway cracked open, leaving black slits where the light should have spilled through. Yet there was no light inside, only darkness. Daniel stepped back, eyes darting left and right. He could feel it now, something in those rooms. He couldn't see it, but the presence was thick, suffocating. His skin prickled as though unseen eyes crawled over him. Then he heard it. Breathing, not his own. Slow, steady, deep breaths coming from behind those half-open doors. In perfect rhythm, like whatever was inside each room was waiting, watching. His chest tightened. No, 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 no. He staggered backward, desperate to get away. But the door behind him swung open with a sharp snap. Daniel whipped around, nothing but blackness within. From that darkness, a whisper slipped out, low, clear. Daniel? He stumbled forward, colliding with the opposite wall. The carpet muffled his footsteps as he tried to sprint again. But the corridor betrayed him. Everywhere he looked, the doors were wide now. No longer cracked, fully open, and the figures were standing inside. He saw them only as silhouettes. Tall, motionless, their bodies melting into the shadows, but their eyes glowed faintly, a pale gray shimmer fixed on him. Every single door held one, dozens of figures, watching. Daniel's pulse thundered in his ears. His knees shook so violently he nearly collapsed. He turned left, figures stared back. He turned right, more figures all identical, their eyes unblinking. He bolted forward, weaving past the doorways. His shoulder brushed one door frame. Instantly, something cold grazed his arm. Like fingers. He yelped and shoved himself away, but he didn't dare stop running. Behind him, the doors slammed shut one by one. Bang, bang, bang. Each slam echoed like a gunshot. The entire corridor shook. Dust rained from the ceiling as the last door crashed closed with a deafening thud. Then silence. Daniel slowed, gasping for breath. His hands trembled as he wiped sweat from his face. The hallway ahead was empty again. Every door sealed tight. For a fleeting moment, relief flickered through him. Maybe it was over. Maybe he'd imagined. The nearest door handle began to turn, slowly, quietly. Daniel's chest seized. His legs refused to move. The handle twisted further, metal squealing until the latch clicked. The door didn't open. It just waited. Then further down, another handle turned. Then another, and another. Every handle in the corridor began to twitch. Some rattled violently. Some turned with painful slowness. The entire hall came alive with the sound of locks straining. Daniel clamped his hands over his ears, but the noise drilled into his skull. His body shook as he backed against the wall, eyes wide, lips trembling. Then the sound stopped. All the handles froze. Daniel dared to breathe until he saw the truth. They weren't doors anymore. Every wooden panel now bulged outward, warped like skin stretched too tight. Shapes pushed from the other side. Hands, faces, twisted outlines of bodies, pressing against the wood as though trying to break through. Mouths formed in the grain, screaming silently, stretching wider and wider. Daniel's mind reeled. His vision blurred. He tried to look away, but the hallway pulsed with movement. The doors bending and breathing. The trapped figures clawing to escape. One door cracked. Splinters flew as a hand burst through, pale and skeletal, fingers curling toward him. Daniel screamed and ran, legs pumping on instinct alone. He didn't look back. He couldn't. The doors behind him exploded open. Wood shattered. Hinges tore free, and the hallway roared to life with dozens of pounding footsteps, chasing him. Daniel's lungs were on fire. He sprinted down the endless hallway, doors bursting open behind him, shadows thundering in pursuit. His legs felt like lead, but he forced them to move. Faster, faster, then silence. He stopped, spun around. The hallway was empty. Every door shut. The air was still, heavy, like nothing had chased him at all. Daniel's chest rose and fell with ragged breaths. Sweat dripped down his face. He wiped his eyes, blinking hard, but the hall looked the same as before. And yet, the number on the nearest door caught his eye. 616. His blood turned cold. It was the same door. The same number. The same room he had just escaped. No. He shook his head violently. No, I left. I got out. But the key card in his pocket burned like fire against his leg. He pulled it out, room 616 printed in bold black letters. Daniel's hand trembled as he pressed the card to the lock. The green light blinked. The door clicked open. Against every instinct, he stepped inside. The room welcomed him like a trap snapping shut. The air was colder now, thick and suffocating. The bedspread was rumpled, as though someone had been lying there moments before. The curtains stirred despite the sealed wall behind them. And the mirror above the dresser no longer lagged. No, it moved too fast. His reflection tilted its head before he did. Its lips curled into a grin while his own face remained blank with terror. Daniel stumbled back. The mirror image stepped forward, pressing both palms flat against the glass. The sound was deafening. Thud, 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 like fists slamming from the other side. Cracks spiderwebbed across the surface. But the reflection's grin only widened, teeth stretching too far, too sharp. Daniel turned to run, but the door slammed shut behind him. The bolt clicked into place, locked. He yanked on the handle, slammed his shoulder against it. Nothing. The TV flared to life, static filling the room. He spun toward it, chest heaving, and his stomach dropped. On the screen was himself. Not standing, not alive. Lying in the hotel bed, motionless, pale, eyes open and unblinking. Daniel screamed and hurled the remote at the screen. It shattered into sparks, but the image didn't vanish. His lifeless body still stared back at him, frozen on the display. The furniture shifted. The nightstand scraped across the floor on its own. The bed creaked as though something climbed onto it. Daniel's heart pounded so hard it felt like it might split his chest. He backed away until his spine hit the wall. The lamp flickered, dimmed, then went out completely. Darkness swallowed him. Only the TV glowed now, casting the room in sickly light. His doppelganger's reflection pressed harder against the mirror, blood dripping from its grin. The whispers returned, low, guttural, vibrating through the walls. They They spoke in a language Daniel didn't know, but he felt the meaning in his bones. The room wasn't just trapping him. It was consuming him. The curtains rustled. The wall behind them rippled like liquid. Pale hands pushed through, clawing at the air, reaching toward him. Daniel bolted to the center of the room, spinning in circles, searching for escape. Every corner betrayed him. The walls shifted, closing in. The ceiling groaned. The bed's frame bent, twisting into jagged shapes. The TV's screen pulsed like a beating heart. And then, the voice. His own. From the mirror. "Stay." Daniel froze. His reflection leaned closer, pressing its face against the cracked glass. Blood smeared down the surface. Its mouth opened impossibly wide. "Stay with us." The mirror shattered. Shards rained across the floor. But instead of reflecting light, each fragment showed something else. Different versions of Daniel. Some older, some younger. All screaming, all trapped. Daniel clutched his head, dropping to his knees, sobbing. "Please, let me out. Let me go." The TV went black. Silence. For a heartbeat, the room was still. Then the bed creaked, slowly, deliberately. Daniel looked up. Something was sitting there. He couldn't see its face, only its outline, hunched, massive, filling the air with suffocating weight. Its head tilted toward him, and in the glow of the broken mirror shards, Daniel realized it was him, a version of him, twisted, hollow-eyed, grinning. Daniel staggered to his feet, clawing at the door one last time, pounding until his fists bled. The figure rose from the bed, towering, its grin splitting ear to ear. The last thing Daniel heard before darkness swallowed him was the lock clicking. Not opening, sealing, forever. Morning light spilled across the Las Vegas Strip, glittering against the hotel's mirrored glass. Guests shuffled through the lobby, dragging suitcases, sipping burnt coffee, laughing off their hangovers. The building hummed with its usual rhythm of ringing slot machines and elevator chimes. But behind the desk, the manager frowned. A keycard lay untouched on the counter, room 616. It hadn't been returned. He tapped the keyboard, pulling up the guest registry. The computer showed a name, Daniel Reed. Checked in. Never checked out. His credit card was still active. His suitcase still stored in the luggage room, untouched. The clerk from the previous night swore she had given him the key, watched him walk toward the elevators. But the security cameras told a different story. The footage showed Daniel entering the lift, pressing the button for the 6th floor. The doors closed, but he never stepped out. On the camera feed, the doors opened to an empty hallway. No one inside. No Daniel. The manager's brow furrowed. He rewound the tape, checked again. Same result. The elevator doors opened, but the cabin was empty. He called housekeeping. Within minutes, 2 women arrived on the 6th floor. They searched the corridor, rolling their carts past each door. 601, 602, 603. But when they reached the end, they stopped. There was no 616. The sequence jumped from 615 to 617. Seamless. No space for another door. No gaps in the wall. "Maybe we miscounted," one whispered, uneasy. They checked again. Still nothing. Their walkie crackled. The manager's voice demanded answers. "There's no 616, the housekeeper stammered. "It's not here." The manager's stomach tightened. He told them to search the floor again. Every corner, every room. They obeyed, opening each door with master keys. 601 was spotless. 602 smelled faintly of bleach. 603 still had a guest inside, groggy and annoyed at the intrusion. Room after room, each exactly where it should be. But not 616. When they returned to the lobby, pale and shaken, the manager dismissed them. Then he pulled aside the oldest employee on staff, a bellhop who had worked there since the building first opened. 616, the manager asked quietly. "Does it exist?" The bellhop's eyes darkened. His hands trembled slightly as he adjusted his cap. "Not anymore," he said. The story came out in hushed tones. Decades ago, there had been a room. 616. A couple was found dead there, bodies mutilated. The walls painted in something no one would speak of. Guests complained of screams echoing through the vents, whispers sliding beneath the doors. The hotel sealed it off, renumbered the corridor, and told everyone it never existed. But sometimes the door still appeared. The manager didn't believe it. He couldn't, not with guests lining up, credit cards swiping, money flowing in. But when he looked back at the key card lying on the desk, his chest tightened. Because the system had generated it automatically. He hadn't approved it. And yet, the key was real. Room 616 had chosen Daniel. That night, security swept the 6th floor again. Cameras watched every inch of the corridor. At 3:16 a.m., motion sensors flickered. A door appeared on the feed. Room 616 perfectly clear. The guards rushed upstairs, pounding down the hall. But when they arrived, nothing. Just the same stretch of carpet. The same numbered doors. 6 and 16 was gone. The footage showed something else. For 3 minutes, a shadow stood in the hallway. Tall, motionless, watching the camera. When it turned to leave, its face came into view. Daniel's face, pale, empty-eyed, lips curled in a grin too wide for his skin. The file corrupted after that. Static swallowed the rest. The next morning, the manager deleted the incident report. He ordered the staff never to speak of it again. But the rumors spread anyway. Guests whispered about a missing man whose luggage still sat in storage. Staff swore they heard knocks coming from a door that wasn't there. At night, some claimed the elevator stopped on the 6th floor by itself, doors opening to a hallway just slightly longer than it should have been. And sometimes, when the building was quietest, housekeepers swore they heard it. A voice calling from behind a door that didn't exist. "Let me out." Subscribe for more chilling horror stories every day. Don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts about Room 616. Would you dare to enter?